So I want to bring up Myron Golden. His last name says it all. If he were doing door-to-door right now, definitely Golden Door Award. He's closed millions and millions of dollars of high-ticket sales. He coaches individuals on high-performance sales all over the world. I mean, I personally was coached by him. I paid him tens of thousands of dollars to help train me how to sell at a higher level. And so I was like, you know what? I want to share some of the guys that have trained me on for me to sell at a high level, share his secrets with you guys. Who's interested in learning how to do that? Say yes. So, I'm going to introduce this video. It's going to explain a little bit about Myron. Let's roll the video.
Myron Golden is a dynamic business trainer and success coach, author, and speaker. He has over 30 years of experience in the marketing and sales arena. Despite the fact that he contracted polio as an infant, Myron is a black belt in the martial arts and has had to overcome many obstacles to succeed in his life and career. He is in high demand as a speaker and trainer in the areas of sales, marketing, and business development and financial literacy. Myron has assisted his clients and businesses that do as much as $10 million per year in revenue. And Myron can assist any business owner in growing their business by 2x, 5x, or even 10x what they are currently producing. Myron teaches also everyday people to become wealthy, often using skills they already have. Myron is able to help his clients see the value in skills and resources they already have but have been undervaluing. He is the author of several books on the subjects of business and finance. His book, From the Trash Man to the Cash Man, has sold over 140,000 copies. If you will open your mind and allow him to share with you his principles, he can change your life for the better. Now, put your hands together for Myron Golden.
Thank you. How many of you want to make 2020 by far the best year you've ever had? Let me hear you say yes. When I show you how to do it, and I'm going to show you how to do it. When I show you how to do it, how many of you are going to take the actions I'm going to show you how to take? Let me hear you say, I will. I will. Excellent. Let's start out by giving yourselves a hand for being here today. The people that I'm looking at in this room right now are the closers. You know how I know you're the closers? Because we're closing and you're still here. Like the event is coming to a close and you're still here. Like it's so amazing to me how people give up on their own dreams. I'm going to talk to you today about the golden rules of seven-figure selling. There are 8 of them. How many? 8. Talk to me, everybody. How many? There are 8 rules, 8 golden rules for seven-figure selling, and I promise you, most of them you've probably never heard before. Do I have a clicker, or does somebody else have? Oh, it's right here. Okay, perfect. That's perfect. So there are 8 golden rules, and a lot of them you've never heard before. But I have done millions of dollars in sales one-on-one. I started my sales career selling insurance and investments in a network marketing company that sold insurance and investment. And I didn't know anybody, I didn't have any influence, so guess what I did? I went door to door. And guess what? When I first started selling, man, you wouldn't have believed it. I did a presentation for my regional vice president, and he jumped up in the middle of my presentation, ran out into the front office, got his wife, said, Donna, you got to come hear this. This is the best presentation I've ever heard. And with the best presentation my regional vice president had ever heard, according to him, it took me 1.5 years to make my first sale. You know why? Because I didn't realize that presentation does not equal persuasion. How many of y'all found that out the hard way? Say yes. How many of y'all found that out the hard way? Say yes. Okay, I thought I was in the right room. So, it took me 1.5 years to make my first sale. And I was working. I was doing presentations day after day after day. I was doing presentations with family members, presentations with friends, presentations with strangers, presentations with people I knew, presentations with people I didn't know, and nobody was buying. Everybody was saying no, 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 N-O, no, K-N-O-W, no. What part of no don't you understand, the N or the O? Everybody was saying no. But I did something that was so unusual, I lasted through the learning curve. And so many people quit before they get the skills. And if you quit before you get the skills, you get all of the hard stuff, all of the pain, all of the difficulty, and none of the payoff. Well, that's not a good deal. So I said, I'm going to last through the learning curve. And I did. And I went from being like one of the worst salespeople in the world. I mean, I was bad. It took me, I started in October of 1985. Probably most of you weren't even born yet. I did not make my first sale until April of 1987. And the reason I'm telling you that is because there's somebody in this room right now who's struggling with the idea of selling and closing and going door to door and having conversations with people, and it seems like it's not working, but I'm here to tell you that it is. In fact, it's impossible for the presentations that you are doing not to work. Even when you're not making sales, the work that you are doing is still working because all work works. Everybody say that. All work works. And see, what we think that the most important part of the work that I'm doing is the work that I'm doing on it. But the most important part of the work that I'm doing is the work that it's doing on me. And see, the work that it's doing on me is always working. Even when the work I'm doing on it seems like it's not working. How many of y'all got what I just said? Say yes. Yes. And so what has to happen, I had to go through enough presentations without persuasion to finally learn how to persuade. And I finally got good. I made a sale. April of 1987, I made my first sale. It was $125.66. That was my first commission check, and I said, I'm going to get rich. Now, maybe that might not have been the conclusion you would have come to, but that was the conclusion I came to. I'm going to get rich. And you know what? Within a few short months, I was the top salesperson in our office. You know why? Because I was willing to be bad long enough to get good. And so, unfortunately, in the day of instant coffee and microwave machines and drive-through banking and drive-through restaurants, we want to have drive-through success. We want it to happen right away, and we figure if it doesn't happen right away, it ain't going to happen. But I'm here to let you know that very few of the things in life that are worthwhile happen instantly. How many of y'all picking up what I'm putting down? Let me hear you say I'm getting it. Let me hear you say I'm getting it. So I'm going to give you this golden rules of seven-figure selling. Now, by the 13th of this month, we had already done over $1 million in sales. And I work part-time. And when I say we so I don't have to say me, because me sounds yucky, right? So I say we've already done over $1 million in sales by the 13th of this month, January 2020. And I've got clients who do $10 million a year, $12 million a year, $20 million a year. So what I'm telling you is not theory. And I was the guy who learned all the stuff that didn't work. Somebody said to me one time, Myron, how did you go from being a guy who couldn't make a sale to being the top sales guy in your office? What was the turning point? What was the thing that made all the difference? I said, I ran out of all the things that wouldn't work. All I had left was stuff that would. And most people aren't willing to run out of all the stuff that doesn't work. How many of y'all know what I'm talking about? Say yes. So the golden rules of seven-figure selling. Now, why are there 8? Well, so every number has significance. I'm not going to go into the significance of every number, but 8 is the number of abundance. 8 is the number of infinity. 8 is the number of eternity. 8 is the number of the new beginning. Some of you already know this stuff. Some of you don't, but it's all good. 8 is a significant number. In fact, even in the Bible, there's a concept in the Bible called the law of first mention. And however something's mentioned the first time in Scripture, that's its original design. That's the original design for the thing. Well, what's really interesting about that is in the first book in the Bible, the word gold is mentioned exactly 8 times. That's pretty interesting. Okay, well, that may not be that interesting to you, but it was interesting to me. Okay, so also in Genesis chapter 1, there's an adjective called good. God used the adjective good to describe what he had made 7 times in Genesis chapter 1. The 8th time he used the adjective good, he was talking about gold in Genesis chapter 2. He said, and there's gold in that land, and the gold of that land is good. So there are 8 rules of 7-figure selling. The golden rules of 7-figure selling. But before I tell you what that is, what they are, let me tell you this. My name is Myron Golden. I teach people how to do one-on-one sales. I teach people how to do high-ticket sales. I teach people how to sell from the stage. I teach people how to do all the selling stuff. Sam is he's one of my new favorite people. I just met him a few months ago, and he's just a brilliant, brilliant guy. For you to have the opportunity to learn from somebody so young and so brilliant, you are definitely in the right place at the right time. For those of you who maybe you have, you want to ask me a question. People say, what's your email address? You can send me an email if you never want me to respond, okay? What's your phone number? You can call me if you never want me to answer, right? Because I don't like talking on the phone. But if you really want me to answer you, me, Myron Golden, send me a message on Instagram. So if you want to reach me, that's my Instagram. If you do an Instagram story, if something I say, you like it while I'm teaching it, if you do an Instagram story and you you share it and tag me in it, I will more than likely, because there's a lot of people in here, so I'm keeping it real, I will more than likely mention your mention of me in my story. So just know that. But only if I say something that impacts your life. If I don't say anything that impacts your life, my apologies in advance for wasting your time. Not likely to happen. Okay. So, the golden rules of selling, it says number 2, but it's actually number 1. Okay? Selling must be defined before it can be refined. So selling must be defined before it can be refined. What does that mean? Most people who do sales don't know what selling is. What does that mean? Most people think that selling is talking people into things they don't want, don't need, and can't afford. That is not selling. Most people think that selling is convincing. How many of you, at one point in your life, you didn't like sales? But how many of you who didn't like it now? Do you know why? The thing you didn't like wasn't sales. You just thought it was sales. The thing you really didn't like was convincing. And see, convincing people is not selling. In fact, selling is persuasion. Selling is what? Talk to me, everybody. Selling is what? Persuasion. Selling is persuasion. And persuasion is the opposite of convincing. Now, if you're taking notes, that's going to be one of the most important things you can write down. Selling is persuasion, and persuasion is the opposite of convincing. If you do a good job persuading people, you do not have to convince them. And I'm going to show you what I mean. Convincing is when I am attempting to get you to do something that I desire you to do for my reasons. That always feels yucky. It feels yucky to me when I'm doing it to you. It feels yucky to you when you're doing it to me. When I'm trying to get you to do something that I want you to do for my reason, you're like, that's yucky. I don't like sales. But what you really don't like is you don't like people who are not good at sales trying to convince you because they failed to sell you. Are y'all picking up what I'm putting down? But when you get good at selling, not only do you not have to convince them to buy, you can't even convince them not to buy. So I'm going to say it one more time, so I know some of y'all want to write it down. And my desire for being here today is to help you become better at closing, better at selling, so you can raise your level of income so you can have the big money and the free time. How many of y'all want the big money and the free time? Say yes. And see, okay, I'm going to get to that. So big money and free time. I'm going to show you how I do that. I work part-time and make millions of dollars a year. I play golf only on the days that end in Y. And you can figure out which ones those are. Okay, so convincing is when I attempt to get somebody to do something I desire them to do for my reasons. Persuasion, which is selling, by the way, is when I help somebody make a decision they already desire to make for their own reasons. That's selling. And I'm going to tell you one of the most important phrases you will ever hear about the concept of selling that you will ever hear in your life, and write it down, even if it makes absolutely no sense to you. Think about it like for the rest of the day, rest of the week, rest of the year, rest of your life, whatever. Eventually, it will dawn on you and you say, oh, that's what Myron meant. And so I'm going to tell you what that phrase is. In selling, when you get good at sales, your prospect will provide the content and you will provide the context. I'll say it again. When you get good at sales, your prospect will provide the content and you will provide the context. How does my prospect provide the content? By you asking them questions, waiting for an answer, listening to that answer, and then showing them how the thing you offer gives them the exact result they desire. Are y'all picking up what I'm putting down? Let me say yes? Yes. So convincing, when I attempt to get somebody to do something I desire them to do for my reasons. Persuasion, when I help somebody make a decision they already desire to make for their own reasons. That's persuasion. Now, what is the definition of selling? I believe that the definition of selling is uncovering what you have to offer so well that people are happy to exchange the money they have in their pocket, for the value you've revealed. And I'm going to teach you how to make way more sales without having to worry about lowering your price. How many of y'all like the sound of that music? Say yes? Yes. Okay, everybody hold your hands out like this, palms facing each other. Repeat after me. When the value is this big, and the price is this big, they always buy. By the way, it doesn't matter what price you put in here. It could be 50,000, it could be 100,000, it could be $1 million, it could be 10 million. If the value is this big and the price is this big, they always buy. And I'm going to tell you something. Most salespeople, when you don't make a sale, the reason you didn't make a sale is because you revealed the price before you uncovered the value. How many of y'all picked up what I just put down? Let me say I got it. So what you've got to do is you've got to understand, you've got to define selling. Selling is not convincing. Get out of the convincing game. When I used to do a lot of one-on-one selling, which I don't do anymore, I hired somebody and trained them, and now they do that. How cool is that, right? So, but when I used to do a lot of one-on-one selling, I still do some, but when I used to do a lot of one-on-one selling, people would say, so, I'm thinking about buying from you, and I'm thinking about buying from this person. Why should I buy from you? You shouldn't. Buy from them. That's what I tell them. You say you wouldn't say it like that. Yeah, I would. Like if you don't even know that I'm a better choice than them, you deserve to go buy from them, and I'll see you in a year. I'm okay with it. See, if you're waiting for me to convince you, oh, you're waiting on the wrong guy. If we both live to be 175,000 years old, that will never happen. People are like, really? Well, I was going to buy from you. I just wanted to know why I should. Well, if you don't already know that, if you're looking for that answer from me, you should have already gotten it. Does that make sense? Now, here's what happens. Why do I do that? Because I am working with human beings. I'm working with what? Talk to me, everybody, with what? And human beings have this operating system on the inside of them called human nature. What's it called? Human nature. And see, when I work with human nature works for me. When I work against human nature works against me. May I teach you something about human nature? Yes or yes? Yes. If you feel like I need you, you believe you don't need me. If you feel like I need you, you believe you don't need me. But if you feel like, what's the word I said? Feel. If you feel like I don't need you, then you automatically believe you need me. Without any words. Just the feeling. If you get the feeling I'm not interested in you, that makes you much more interested in me. If you get the feeling I'm too interested in you, it creeps you out, and now you're not interested in me. How many of y'all picking up what I'm putting down? Say yes? And if you want to understand this better, there's a story that's age-old called Boy Meets Girl. It works on both sides. Okay. So the second principle, the next principle that you got to learn is, wow, my titles are not showing up, but fortunately I know what they are. So that was number one. Number two is you sell like you buy. You sell like you buy, which means you don't get what you want when you're selling, you get what you are. You don't get the kind of customers you want, you get the kind of customer you are. So before I go any further, let me ask you this question. What does a tree have to do to grow apples? What does a tree have to do to grow apples? Somebody tell me, what does that have to do? Thank you. What is your name, sir? Aaron? Aaron, say it one more time loudly, Aaron. It has to be an apple tree. What does a tree have to do to grow apples? It has to be an apple tree. It doesn't have to do anything except be an apple tree. And see, one of the problems that you have in selling is you're trying to do something that goes against who you are. How many of y'all picking up what I'm putting down? Let me say yeah. I mean, I know it hurts a little bit, but pick it up anyway. It's going to be good for you, baby. And the reality is, you sell like you buy. See, for me, I love to buy. I love to buy stuff. I love to pay people. I love to give big tips. I love all of it. You know why I love to pay people? I love to pay the people who serve me. I don't ever gripe about it. I don't ever complain. Why does it cost so much? You're wondering why you're getting those people? Because you are those people. That's real talk, people. That's real talk. And what you got to do is you got to grow out of this thing where you love the money and use the people and grow into a thing where you love the people and use the money. And when you do that, you will see your whole world change. When selling becomes something that you do for the people you sell to instead of something you do to the people you sell to, you'll see your numbers change drastically. Making sense? Say yes. You sell like you buy. It's really interesting. There are 4 different types of buyers. How many? 4. There are freeple people. You know what freeple people are? They're people who want everything for free. They're the worst salespeople in the world. Oh man, I don't like paying for nothing. That's right. That's why you can't sell nothing. Freeple people. And then there's sheeple people. They don't mind paying as long as it don't cost too much. They're called cheaple people. And the reason you can only sell Walmart customers is because you keep on going to Walmart. I'm using it as an analogy. I don't go to Walmart, and that's not an analogy. Okay? Okay? But you sell like you buy. I don't mind paying the best price because I get paid the best price. But I started paying the best price before I started getting paid the best price. I got a bill. I got a $3,000 bill today for my tax attorney, right? And I thought for a second, well, what did he do? I talked to him on the phone maybe 4 times. Okay. And then I saw on this thing $450 an hour, and I know he did some stuff. I'm like, okay, well, he makes a whole lot less money than I do. I might as well just go ahead and pay him and say thanks. Right? Like when I coach people, I get $15,000 an hour. I don't mind paying you $450 an hour, bro. You went to law school for 9 years or longer. Right? So you got to understand you sell like you buy. So if you always are going around pretending that you are broke, you're going to attract people who are pretending they're broke. You're going to attract freeple people. You're going to attract cheaple people. Now, there's another group which they start moving up the ladder. It gets a little better. I call them feeple people. Feeple people are people who are willing to pay a fee, right? And that fee might be $450 an hour. It might be $450. It might be $400,000. But they're willing to pay a fee. And I like feeple people. And I don't have many things to sell to them. Like, those three categories of people, I don't have many things to sell to those people at all. I mean, I've got a couple of, like, I used to be a trash man, okay? So remember I told you I was selling insurance and investments? That was my part-time gig. My full-time gig was I drove a garbage truck for $6.25 an hour. I used to make $6.25 an hour. It was the first job I got after I got married. I was married for I've been married now for almost 35 years, and I got thank you. And I got when I first got married, I couldn't find a job, and then finally found a job with trash truck, $6.25 an hour, time and a half for overtime. They're going to give me benefits. I'll take it, right? And then I'd come home, take a nap, and then I'd go out and sell insurance and investments at night. Have you ever bought insurance or investments from your trash man? How cool is that? Okay, so anyway, so you sell like you buy. What does a tree have to do to grow apples? It has to be an apple tree. Okay, now, I used to be a trash man. When you figure out how to sell, it is the best way in the world to create massive family wealth. Now, you're all of you who are in sales, congratulations. Selling is one of the, if not the most noble profession in the world. In fact, what I'm going to get all of us to do, I'm going to get all of us to take our wallets out. Everybody take out your wallet or purse or whatever. I want you to take out some money or something that represents money. It could be a credit card. It could be a $20 bill. It could be a $100 bill. I know I have some money in here. Okay, there it is. So I want you to take out some money or a credit card, debit card, check, whatever. It could be $1. I don't care how much it is. Just take some money out. I'm going to show you something. By the way, this would be a good illustration for you to do with the people that you're selling to, okay? Now, I want you to hold it up, and I want you to look at it. And then I want you to repeat after me as you're looking at that money. The only reason. Everybody repeat after me. The only reason I ever have any money in my pocket, in my bank account, in my life, to buy the things that I desire, to pay for the things that to buy things for, to donate to the causes I care about, or to buy things for the people I love, is because somebody somewhere sold something to someone for a profit. Now give yourselves a hand for being salespeople. A lot of people don't know. There's a lot, like, people think they understand money, but they don't. Like, broke people don't understand money, for sure. They have no idea. They're clueless, okay? But a lot of rich people don't understand it either. So one of the biggest mistakes I see people making when it comes to money is they think that money is materialistic in its nature, but it is not, I assure you. The essence of money is not materialistic at all. In fact, I'm going to say something that's going to shock you. If you're ready, let me say I'm ready. The essence of money is spiritual. The essence of money is what? Spiritual. What does that mean? Okay, well, would you like me to share it with you? Yes? So on this $100 bill, well, let me take something else out of my other pocket because I got some. I'm good. If my arm starts getting tired, I'll holler at you. You're my guy. You're my guy. So I have in this hand, what is it? If you're in the front, shout it out. A $100 bill. I have in this hand, if you're in the front, you can see it, shout it out. A penny. Okay, I have everybody now. I have in this hand and I have in this hand okay, now I'm going to ask you a question. It is not a trick question. It is not a trick question. It is not a trick question. Okay? Which one's worth more, the penny or the $100 bill? Okay, now, we always get somebody who says the penny. By the way, that doesn't make them a bad person, but I said 3 times it's not a trick question. So let me ask you the question a different way. Which would you rather have, the penny or the $100 bill? That's the one that's worth the most. Now, which one's worth more, the material the penny's made out of or the material the $100 bill's made out of? The material the penny's made out of is worth more than the material the $100 bill's made out of. But yet the $100 bill is worth 10,000 times more than the penny. It takes 10,000 of these to make one of these. Why? So what's the value? Where does the value come from? The value obviously does not come from the material it's made out of. So the essence of money cannot be materialistic. The value of it is not materialistic at all. Are y'all tracking with me right now? So, what makes it valuable? I'll tell you what makes it valuable. Two things. One, this one says 1 penny, which means 1%, or it actually says 1 cent. On the back it says 1 cent, which means 1% of $1. This says $100. So I want you to see something here. The thing that makes this more valuable is the message that it carries. And language is a spiritual characteristic. It is not a material characteristic. Language is something that only spiritual beings have. So the message that the money carries creates the value. Are y'all with me so far? What's backing a $100 bill or a penny? Nothing. Nothing. And certainly not the bank. Okay? So, I don't even have time to do a financial literacy lesson. I wish I did. Then I can help you create a lot more wealth in your life. And I'm gonna give you all a little side note. How many of you own a house or have a mortgage? Okay, you have a mortgage. Okay, raise your hand nice and high. Don't be scared. Okay, so I'm gonna tell you something you can do to become your own bank and pay your mortgage off in 5 to 7 years. I'm not gonna make it make sense right now. I'm just gonna tell you what it is, and then you can either do it or don't do it. Is that okay with everybody? Say yes? Yes. Okay. So what you do is go trade your traditional mortgage in on a home equity line of credit. Go trade your traditional mortgage in on a home equity line of credit. You're better off with a home equity line of credit with a higher rate of interest than you are with a traditional mortgage with a lower rate of interest. And then take all of the money that you get paid every time you get paid, and instead of depositing it in a fractional reserve bank, you know why? Oh, by the way, what's a fractional reserve bank? Every bank in Salt Lake City and Tampa where I live and all the other towns where everybody lives, they're all fractional reserve banks. And fractional reserve banks means they only have to keep a fraction of your deposits on reserve. Would you like to know the fraction? Or do you already know? 3%. For every $1,000 you deposit, they only have to keep $30 in the bank. They loan out the other $970 to the next person who comes in the bank, and they charge them interest and pay you none of it. But they're loaning them your money. They can loan out $30,000 on your single $1,000 deposit. If you become your own bank, you will protect yourself from being taken advantage of by these clowns who created this money game where they're making you think that your money is secure. Anyway, that was free. Do something with it or don't. But, okay. So, if there's nothing backing a $100 bill, why is it worth $100? Here's why. Because we believe it is. Because we what? Everybody what? Because we what? Believe it is. Now, when we talk about believing something, now we're talking about faith. Is faith materialistic or is it spiritual? Spiritual. So the reason money is spiritual is because the thing that makes it valuable is the message it carries, and language is spiritual, and the faith that it creates, and faith is spiritual. But not only that, only spiritual things can be in more than one place at a time. Now, this $100 bill is only in one place right now. I get that. But I've got money in the bank, and guess what? That card right there, it's on that card and in the bank at the same time. Only spiritual things can be in more than one place at a time. So what I'm telling you is learn how money works. Become financially literate so you don't have to be broke. Does that make sense, everyone? Say yes? Okay. So I used to be a trash man. Your best chance at creating wealth is learning how to sell. That's your best chance. I am a very good-looking brother, they tell me, but Hollywood is not banging down my door saying, hey, will you star in our next blockbuster film? I'm very athletic, but I did have polio as an infant, and so the NBA, the NFL, nor the National Baseball League, none of them are saying, hey, will you come play for one of our teams? So what am I going to do? How am I going to create wealth for my family? I want to win. Well, you should go get a degree, as in a fever or something else. And people say, well, you should go get a degree. And like, that's not a formula for financial success. I'm going to tell you the best formula for financial success. Learn how to sell. Master the skill of selling. So, I'm going to give you all something for free because I don't have time to go into it right now. You need to go on YouTube and you need to find a video that I created called How to Eliminate Income Inequality. And I teach about the 4 levels of value. You need to go watch that video because if I had time, I'd teach it to you now, but I don't have time. So we're going to keep going. So it's called How to Eliminate Income Inequality. Also the 4 levels of value, okay? So the next principle, the next golden rule is wealth is measured more in time than it is in money. This is one of the most important things that you will ever learn about creating wealth in your life. How many of you have ever heard somebody say time is money? Okay? Don't you ever say that again. Next time somebody says that, I want you to have the same like sick feeling in your stomach that I get every time I hear somebody say time is money. You know who thinks time is money? People who don't understand time and don't understand money. Broke people think time is money. In fact, I'm going to say, like, having been poor for the first part of my life and having been wealthy for the last part of my life, the last several decades, I'm going to tell you the biggest difference between rich people and poor people that I've discovered. If you'd like me to share it with you, say yes. Okay, here it is. Poor people value money more than they value time. Rich people value time more than we value money. Poor people will waste a bunch of time to save a little bit of money. Rich people will spend a whole lot of money to save a little bit of time. Because time is the stuff that life is made of. It doesn't matter how much money you spend today, you can make it back tomorrow. But when your life is over, when your time is up, you don't get any more time. Time is not money. Time is infinitely more valuable than money. How many of y'all picking up what I'm putting down? Let me say yes. Time is infinitely more valuable than money. So, I was talking to Russell Brunson. How many of y'all know who Russell Brunson is? Okay, he's a good friend of mine, one of my business coaches. And so I was talking to Russell Brunson, and we were getting ready to go up on stage at 10X Growth Con back in January of last year. And y'all know about 10X Growth Con? Okay, cool. So I said to him, Russell, let me ask you a question. I said, if you could go back on your wealth journey and you could change one thing, what one thing would you change? And you have to know Russell to really appreciate his answer. He says, I don't know, man. What would you change? That's not an answer, bro. Okay. So I said the one thing that I would change is I would have gotten it done so much faster. I would not have caved to all of my excuses for years and decades. I would have gotten the deal done so much faster if I would have known how simple it was and that I could do it. By the way, there is nothing that I do right now that I could not have done when I was broke as a joke. I just didn't understand how life worked and how money worked. I didn't understand the 4 levels of value. I didn't understand that the thing that I'm really, really good at was something that could have been making me millions of dollars a year in my 20s. And I said, I would have gotten it done faster. Wealth is measured more in time than money. Is it okay if I prove it to you? Say yes? Yes. Okay, I'm going to prove it to you. If you make $1 million, are you rich? Well, here's the real answer. It depends. Because if you make $1 million, let's say you make $25,000 a year for the next 40 years, are you rich? Definitely not. But if you're making $1 million in the next 12 months, are you rich? Yes, you're rich. Now, you may not be big rich, mega rich, but you're rich. Like, if you make $1 million a year, unless you're blowing it all, and you shouldn't be blowing like $1 million is $84,000 a month. Like, you shouldn't be blowing that. Like, what are you buying for $84,000 a month? Right? Okay, you shouldn't be broke if you're making $1 million a year. I'm just saying. Okay, So in fact, if you make $1 million a year, you're 40 times richer than the person who makes $25,000 a year. But you're making the same amount of money, you're just making it faster. You're making it 40 times faster. If you make $1 million a month, are you richer than the guy who makes $1 million a year? Yeah. Yes, you are. And by the way, if you want to take a year off and all you need is $1 million, just go out and make $1 million in a month, then you can take the rest of the year off. Then you got the big money and the free time. Okay, so learn how to understand that wealth is measured more in time than it is in money, and then stop trying to make more money and learn how to make the same amount of money you're making now faster. Take the amount of money you make every year, start making that amount every month. You're wealthy. Take the amount of money you're making every month, make that much every week. You're wealthy. Take the amount of money you're making every week, make that much every day. Like, I make more money an hour than I used to make in a couple of years. In fact, sometimes I make more money in an hour, because sometimes we have like 7-figure hours. I mean, we don't have those all day, every day, but you know what? You don't have to have, when it's 7 figures, you don't have to have them all day, every day. All you need is a couple of them a year. How many of y'all picking up what I'm putting down? Say yes. And by the way, I am here to let all of you know that if you will stop holding back and you will let yourself be a person who is a sales professional, the world is your oyster. You can write your own ticket. You can write your own check. You don't have to worry about how much something costs anymore because you are a closer, okay? But what you've got to do is you've got to overcome anxiety. Overcome anxiety. This is the golden rule. Anxiety is the thief of your dreams. Now, here's the problem. Anxiety is not fear. Is that flip chart still around somewhere, anywhere? If it is, if somebody can bring it up, the flip chart and the marker, that'd be great. Is it okay if I show you like how all this junk inside you works that like keeps holding you back from like getting paid, or better yet, getting paid? You say, what's paid? It's when you get paid so much you have to turn it into a 2-syllable word. And anxiety is the thief of your dreams. Now, I'm going to tell you something. Most people make the mistake of thinking that anxiety is fear. But I want everybody to repeat after me. Anxiety is not fear. You can do better than that. Anxiety is not fear. Anxiety is not fear. So I'm going to define both of them for you, if I may. May I? Anxiety, well, I'm going to tell you what fear is first. Fear is caution over a real and present danger. What's fear? Caution over a real and present danger. People say, I'm afraid to make a present. You're not afraid. There's no real and present danger. So from now on, when you think you're afraid of something, you think you're afraid of taking an action, ask yourself, what's the danger? If there is no danger, if there's no real and present danger, it's not fear. Are y'all with me? Fear is caution over real and present danger. Anxiety is caution over a future imagined danger. What do I mean? Well, I'm scared to go knock on that door because they might slam the door in my face. That's a future. You imagined a danger in the future that keeps you from taking an action in the present. Are y'all with me? That's anxiety. Anxiety is a thief of your dreams. Anxiety is the thing that has talked you out of the chances you've already walked past in your life to become a millionaire. Like, I'm 58 years old. What I'm telling you is not theory. I've just been in the world long enough to figure some of this stuff out. And I'm going to tell you, anxiety is the thief of your dreams. Almost everything you desire in your life that you don't have, the reason you don't have it is because you allowed anxiety to steal it from you. And you got to determine how much longer you're going to let it go like that. So, is it okay if I show you how it works? Everybody say yes? Here's how it works. This is you. Oh boy. Who's that? Everybody say that's me. So you look at a situation over here. When you look at that situation, I'm gonna move this up closer so y'all can see it really, really good. Hopefully I'm not destroying anything. Okay? So this is you. when you see something, this is a situation. This situation has no significance until you give it some significance. So this is you. You see this thing, right? And when you look at it, you're going to tell yourself a story, right? So this is a fact. It's a what? It's a fact. And then you're going to put a frame around it, and that frame is called focus. What's the frame called? Focus. So when you have a focus, in your head, it does not stay there. It is a traveling salesman. By the way, in the form of focus, it manifests itself as one of two outcomes, either faith or doubt. Now, here's what most people don't realize. Faith and doubt are both belief. People say, I don't believe I have doubt. No, if you have doubt, you still believe. You just believe in the outcome you don't desire. More than you believe in the outcome you do desire. Faith and doubt are both belief. Are y'all with me? Okay. So, if your focus creates faith around this fact, then it migrates down to your heart as a feeling. If focus creates doubt as the frame around this fact, it also migrates down to your heart as a feeling. As a what? As a feeling. And I'm going to tell you something about human nature. This is so cool. There's only one reason people ever do anything. How many reasons? One reason people do anything. Would you like to know what it is? Everybody say yes. The only reason anybody ever does anything is because they feel like it. And when people don't do something, the reason they don't do it is because they don't feel like it. If you really want to master using self-control in your life, stop trying to make yourself do things and stop trying to make yourself stop doing things and start making yourself feel like doing the things that are good for you and make yourself feel like not doing the things that are bad. It'll change your life forever. Like seriously, it's like, oh, yeah, I don't feel like going to the gym today. Well, when you make yourself feel like going to the gym, you no longer have to make yourself go to the gym. How many of y'all picking up what I'm putting down? Let me hear you say yes. When you can make yourself feel like talking to another prospect, you don't have to make yourself talk to another prospect. Learn how to control your feelings. How do I control my feelings? By determining what focus you're going to put around the fact that you're contemplating. Y'all with me? I hope this ain't too deep for y'all. Y'all all right? Everybody got this? Okay. If you're with me, let me say I'm with you, Myron. Okay. So, if doubt is the frame, the feeling is going to be anxiety. And anxiety, what happens when you have anxiety? Doesn't your heart race? Don't your hands sweat? Doesn't your, and your head starts sweating, and you lay down, but you can't go to sleep, and your mind is racing? And you're not even doing anything. Why is your heart beating so fast? It's not like you're running. You're just laying there. You're just sitting there. But your heart's beating. And people start hyperventilating. What do they call that? A panic attack. A panic attack's nothing more than anxiety. What causes panic attacks? Your mind creating a frame around a fact, and that frame is telling you, this is going to be terrible. And you have a physical reaction to it in your body. And that physical reaction will not allow you to move. Or, by the way, anxiety is, you ever heard somebody say, worrying about something makes the thing you're worrying about happen? You ever heard somebody say that? Would you like to know why that is? The reason worrying about something makes it come to pass is because worrying about something robs you of the energy to do something about that thing. Anxiety is wasting present energy on a future outcome that's undesirable to me. So I'm thinking about closing a sale, but I don't go talk to the person because what if they don't buy? Well, if I don't talk to them, they're not buying. It's 100% they're not buying if I don't talk to them. 100%. I've like increased my chances 50-50 if I just talk to them, even if the presentation's bad. Like, what did Ed say? You don't want to buy any life insurance, do you? That's a horrible presentation. But it doesn't matter. He increased his chances just by talking to people. So, anxiety is wasting present energy on a future outcome that's undesirable to me. So I've got a little Mercedes that I use to carry my Segway to the golf course, so I can buzz around the golf course on my Segway, right? But my go out to eat, like act like I'm really cool car is my Bentley Continental GT, right? So it's got a 12-cylinder engine. 12 cylinders. Now, it goes 210 miles an hour. Do you understand there's not a road in the United States of America that it is legal to go 210 miles an hour on? Okay, just wanted to make sure. So can you imagine me getting in my Bentley, backing out into the driveway, putting it in park, and going, boom, 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 and I just do that in the driveway all day. Where do I go? Nowhere. But what do? I either run out of gas or blow the engine. Isn't that right? Do you understand that's exactly what anxiety is like? It's like sitting in your chair, revving up the engine of your heart, worrying about an outcome you don't desire, you're going nowhere, producing nothing, and the only two outcomes are you're going to be so exhausted when you're done worrying about it, or you're going to have a heart attack and blow your engine. People say, but I feel so bad. There's never a good reason to make yourself feel bad. Don't do that. So, anxiety is wasting present energy on a future outcome that's undesirable to you. Like, I am teaching you how you work so that you can work better, so you can go make more money, and you can live the life of your dreams. Like, I have a business. You know why I have business? The purpose of me being a business owner is threefold. One, leverage. By the way, you're either going to have leverage or you're going to be somebody's leverage. Those are your only choices. So if you can sell something, you can have leverage. If you don't sell something, you're always going to be somebody's leverage. I'm just telling you how it works. Okay? Leverage is number one. What's leverage mean? It means with a little input, I produce a massive output. That's leverage, right? Okay? Two, so for me, leverage is I work part-time, right? And usually after I'm done playing golf that day. Okay? So, two is lifestyle. What does lifestyle mean? Lifestyle means I play golf on the days that end in Y. It means my wife and I, take 4 to 5, 10, 7 to 10 day vacations per year. Okay? So, feeling. I don't have any anxiety around it. Why? Because I've created leverage. So leverage, lifestyle, legacy. What's legacy? Legacy is making sure my children don't have to start from scratch. Which is why my daughter and my son-in-law, when they moved to Florida, they started working for our company, we were able to give them a house and a 6-figure income. Does that make sense? Leverage, lifestyle, legacy. Okay, so let's go. If the focus is faith, then the feeling is anticipation. Anticipation is powerful. Anticipation fuels your dreams. Anticipation is the feeling you had on December 24th when you were 6 years old and you knew what you were getting the next day. And your parents kept saying, go to sleep, go to sleep, go to sleep, go to sleep, go to sleep. And what was the one thing you couldn't do? Go to sleep. Why? Because when you're expecting a positive outcome, it infuses you with energy and you can't sleep. How many of y'all picking up what I'm putting down? Say yes. Okay, so when the focus in your head creates a feeling in your heart, that feeling in your heart creates a function in your hand. If the feeling is anxiety, the function is paralysis. If the feeling in your heart is anticipation, the function in your hand is power. This is how you work. And what you've got to learn to do is you've got to learn how to empower yourself by creating the right kinds of frames around all the facts in your life. Does that make sense to everyone? Say yes? There it is. So, get rid of anxiety, like eliminate anxiety from your life. So, I'm going to let y'all in on a little secret. I wish I had more time to discover it, but I'm going to go like as quickly as I can. It's easier to make a lot of money in a short period of time than it is to make a little money over a long period of time. Say, what's that jet got to do with anything? I was going to do an illustration that I don't have time to do. Where's Sam? Sam? Sam, I know they gave me 10 more minutes, but it's going to take me longer than that. Is that okay? Okay, cool, because I need to, I'm developing something here. And I think I've only been going for, 40 minutes or so? Yeah, okay. So I need to develop this. So do we have anybody in here who was a track star in high school? Any track stars? Somebody was a track star in high school. First track star. If you were a track star, come up and help me. I need one track star. Come help me. Come on, help me. Track star, run and help me. Okay. Okay, he's here. Okay. All right. Good to see you, man. Good to see you. Remind me of your name.
If you remember, that would be amazing.
Donovan. I knew it started with a D. Donovan. I was seeing the letters, but I missed out. Donovan. So Donovan was a track star. What'd you run?
I ran the 100 meter.
He ran the 100 meter.
4x1.
Now I'm gonna tell you something about me now. When I was a kid, I learned how to fight because I couldn't run. Y'all picking up what I'm putting down? Well, I ain't running from you. Right? We ain't running. So let's go. Let's do this. Okay. So, but me and Donovan, let's start over here, bro. So Donovan and I are going to get in a race. Now, I have a brace on my leg. I don't care about your boots, bro. You got a brace? So quit tripping about the boots. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding, Donovan. You know I'm just joking, bro. Okay, so I've got a brace on my leg. How many of y'all understand that it would not be fair for Donovan and I to get a race? Can you run a mile?
Yeah.
You can run a mile? Okay, so let's get in a mile race. But how many of y'all would agree it wouldn't be fair for both of us to go a mile? How many of y'all would agree? Right? Because I have a brace, he didn't have a brace. So what you're going to do, you're going to run a mile, I'm going to go 2 miles. Wait a minute. I'm dyslexic. Did I say that backwards?
Yeah.
I hate it when I do that. So anyway, I said it backwards, but I'm a man of my word. How many of y'all understand, because I blew it with my dyslexic self, if he and I get in this race, he runs a mile, and I go 2 miles, how many of y'all know Donovan's going to win the race? Say yes. Everybody say unless. Unless he's running, I'm on a bicycle. Because I said he's running a mile, I said I'm going to go 2 miles. And now I can go farther, faster, and use less energy. How many? Yeah. How many of y'all picked up what I just put down? Say yes?
Yes.
So, but that's not fair because I'm on a bike and he's running. So, let's give him a bike. Now he goes a mile. He goes 2 miles. I go 4 miles. Now he still wins again. Everybody say unless. Unless I'm in a car. But that's not fair. Give him a car. He goes 50 miles. I go 100 miles. He wins again unless I'm on a plane. He goes 100 miles. That's not fair. So give him a plane. He goes 100 miles. I go 200 miles. He wins again unless I'm on a jet. You say, Myron, what's the point? Come over back here in the middle with me, Donovan. Okay. Here's my point. I can always make up and leverage what I lack in ability. Did y'all hear what I just said? I can always make up and leverage what I lack in ability. And yes, I can't beat him running, but I can beat him on a bicycle. And so many people are trying to win at the game of life without any leverage. Stop running long enough to find some leverage. Does that make sense? Everyone say yes?
Yes.
Okay, so what I want you to do, because you came and helped me, come see me when we're done. I'm going to give you a copy of my best-selling book, From the Trash Man to the Cash Man, just for you, for helping me out. Appreciate it. All right. Give it up for Donovan, y'all. No, go ahead. Do it quickly while I'm talking. Okay. So everybody picked it up? I can always make up and leverage what I lack in ability. Everybody got it? Say, I got it. Now I'm gonna end up on the 8th golden rule of 7-figure selling. You got to keep more of your money. So you got to minimize some of your expenses. Now, I live a very simple life. You're saying, how simple can your life be if you're driving a Bentley and a Mercedes? Pretty simple. And I don't even like paying cash for cars, but I paid cash for my cars just because I saw the deal and couldn't pass it up, and so I just paid cash. But you've got to learn to eliminate your 2 biggest expenses. So what I want you to do is I want you to take out a piece of paper or on your phone or wherever, but preferably on a piece of paper. I want you to write down the 2 most expensive things that you currently pay for. Write them down. Write them down. 2, only 2, not 200. Write down 2. Everybody got them written down? I didn't hear what you said. Okay, well, I'll show you how to make. I don't know how to get rid of them, but I can show you how to make them not matter at all. Like, and by the way, the best way to get rid of rent is to buy a house. The best way to get rid of your mortgage is to have a home equity line of credit, deposit your paycheck, your entire paycheck, into your home equity line of credit because it's a revolving account, and then pay your bills out of your home equity line of credit instead of from the fractional reserve bank checking account where you're loaning money to the bank every month for free, thousands of dollars sitting in a checking account, and you're loaning it to the bank for free, and they're loaning it to everybody else and charging interest and giving you none of it. Anyway, that's a whole nother conversation for a different day. So, how many of you had a house as one of your two biggest expenses? How many had car? How many had college loans? How many had children? Utility? Wife. Okay, so I got some really brilliant people down here in the front row saying taxes. Okay, so your second biggest expense is taxes. That's your second biggest expense. You can't eliminate taxes, but you can minimize them. Because taxes were created for corporations, and corporations get write-offs. But the government figured people are not that smart, so we might as well start taxing them too. Anyway, it's a whole other conversation for a different day. We all have to pay taxes, but you can pay a whole lot less in taxes than you're paying right now. It's a whole other conversation for a different day. But if you're like the average American, you're paying 51% in taxes. And some of you did, how many of you, honest to goodness, be honest, did not have taxes on your list? It was not on your list of two things. Right. You know why? You know why it wasn't on your list of two things? Because they nickel and dime you to death. What do I mean they nickel and dime you to death? Well, they tax you when you earn money, that's called income tax. They tax you when you spend it, it's called sales tax. They tax you on what you bought after you own it, that's called property tax. They tax you if you sell it for more than you bought it, that's called capital gains tax. They tax you when you die, that's called death tax and estate tax. They taxing you going and coming. 51% is 51 cents out of every dollar. It's $5.10 out of every $10. It's $51 out of every $100. It's $510 out of every $1,000. It's $51,000 out of every, it's $5,100 out of every $10,000, $51,000 out of every $100,000 you earn, and $510,000 out of every $1 million you make in your life, you are given to the United States government because you don't know. And that's your second biggest expense. What's your first biggest expense? Well, it depends. If you're smart, it's different than if you're dumb. Like, so if you're smart, how many are smart? Okay, I'm going to tell you the biggest expense in your life. By the way, you can completely eliminate this one. Okay. Thank you. Thank you for sharing. I love the enthusiasm. Okay. So, your biggest expense in your life is not knowing how to make at least $1 million a year. That's your biggest expense. Say, what do you mean? Okay, I want you to think about it. Write it on your piece of paper. How much money did you make last year? You don't have to tell me. You don't have to tell the person sitting next to you. Just write it on a piece of paper. Put it on your phone. Whatever it is. Like, put the number down somewhere. How much money did you make last year? Let's say you're in the top, whatever, 25% of income earners. And let's say last year you made $120,000. Is $120,000 better than $30,000? Oh, yeah. It's 4 times better than $30,000. Right? How many of you are smart? How many of you believe that one smart person can teach another smart person something they know how to do? Okay. So, like, is there anybody here who could bake a chocolate cake and teach me how to bake a chocolate cake? Right, because one smart person can, right? Okay. So, if you made $120,000 last year, are you ready? Can y'all handle it? Say, I can handle it. You paid life $880,000 for not knowing how to make $1 million. Why would you do that? Now, not why would you do that last year. Why would you do it again? The question you've got to answer is, do you want to pay life in 2020 the same amount you paid life in 2019 for not knowing how to make $1 million? How many of you, your answer is no? How many of you want to learn how to make the big dollars selling? Say yes. Okay, so here's what I've done. I've talked to Sam, and Sam's one of my students, and I love him. He's a great dude. And I've agreed to do something for him that, honestly, I wouldn't do for somebody who's not one of my students. And I've agreed to help him help some of you take your life to the next level. If you, like, don't run up here. Don't tackle me. I'm old. Stuff breaks really easy. Okay? Don't run up here. But if you want your life to change and you want to be one of those people who I help Sam help get to multiple six figures, seven figures in 2020, stand up right now. Okay. Now, I want you to listen very carefully. I want you to listen. I don't want any, no wildness. I want you to listen very carefully. Sam has persuaded me. He has not convinced me. Sam has persuaded me to do a training that's going to last for at least 3 hours. Okay, anybody ever heard of Dan Locke? He's one of my students. I can show you the video testimony. Dan Locke paid me and that's his words, not mine, paid me tens of thousands of dollars to learn how to do the stuff I do. Anybody know who Dan Henry is? Dan Henry, one of my students. Sold out courses, one of my students. There's a reason these big named people, you never even heard of me. How many of y'all never heard of me? Like, Myron who? Right? Okay. My last name is not who, but it's Golden, and it sounds like who? Myron who? Right? Okay. But you know who my students are. I work part-time. I don't need you to know who I am. I want to go to the grocery store and people leave me alone. Right? So here's what you're going to do. For those of you who joined Elite already, you already joined Elite this morning or today, come stand up here on the stage with me. If you already joined, come up here on the stage with me. You already joined. Give these people a hand. This is when y'all hear what I'm about to do for you, it's going to blow your mind. For those of you who have not joined Elite yet, there are applications over here. This is real talk, people. This is real talk. When it's over, it's over. Like when it closes, it closes. The financing that's available, I'm going to give you the details. Don't let grass grow under your feet. Go over here. Is there a table over here? Over there. Tables over there. Financing guys are over there. Don't wait for somebody else. You want to be a part of this program, and you're already in. Okay, go over there right now. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do a high-ticket sales training. I'm going to teach you my multi-million-dollar closing sequence. My multi-million-dollar closing sequence. I've done it thousands of times. I do it the same way every time, right? And the only way I would ever do this with an individual is if they paid me $15,000 to talk to me for an hour, like 15 G's. Okay, it's going to take me at least 3 hours. That would be a $45,000 consult that all of you, because you took advantage of Elite, you're going to get. How many of y'all like the sound of that music? Say yes? Yes. For those of you who would like to learn what I'm going to teach them, in addition to the stuff that Sam's teaching you in Elite, go get the application right now, the finance. All you got to do is put down the $2,000 deposit today. And I'm going to show up, and I'm going to do a training. And by the way, everybody who is in Elite, not only are you going to get the training live, I'm going to stay on the training until all of your questions about anything having to do with sales get answered. And I don't know all the answers, but I know how to sell stuff. Like somebody asked me in the back, says, Myron, so what are your price points? Like you don't even but Myron, can I just come work with you? If you don't want to do Elite, you sure can't work with me yet. My lowest price program is $35,000. And one of my higher ticket, it's not my highest ticket, but it's the highest ticket, like individual person offer that I've ever sold so far is my Royal Family offer, and that's $1 million a year. So, for those of you who are already in, congratulations. For those of you who want to be in, I'm going to be over here to answer any questions that you have. Anybody, I'm going to say it like this. Say, Myron, why are you selling us something? Because if I'm telling you I'm good at sales and I'm not selling you something, I'm suspect. Like I don't apologize for selling, and neither should you. I think it's the greatest, one of the greatest professions in the world. You're already a part of it. Learn how to do it at the highest level. If you don't have the money, you're going to learn from Sam and from myself how to make more sales so that whatever the payments are on this program, it doesn't matter. But here's what I'm going to warn all of you. you're not sure, I'm going to warn you. I would highly recommend that you take advantage of Sam's Elite program before he figures out who he is. Because I've got students who didn't know who they were, and they started coaching with me, and they doubled their price and tripled their price and made more sales. So give these folks up here a hand. Give these folks up here a hand. I want to congratulate all of you. Your life's about to change. If you don't know it yet, it's about to change. And for the rest of you who are ready to get started with Elite, follow me over here, and we're going to get started. All right. Be blessed, my people.